With Russell Wilson being traded to the Denver Broncos and Bobby Wagner being released from the Seattle Seahawks, it is clear that the Seahawks have reached the end of an era. I believe Russell Wilson and Bobby Wagner were the only two players left that had been on the team that won the Super Bowl, and now they're gone. And it's clear that the Seattle Seahawks are going to have to do something new. Pretty obviously, it's going to be a rebuild, but, Pete Carroll trying to maintain his reputation, I can almost guarantee he's going to try and still win games next year, which is maybe not the best idea. Now, let me tell you why I believe that trying to win games next year isn't going to be a good idea, right? So, going into this draft, we just got the number 9 overall pick, but doing the base level, the lowest level of research, I can clearly tell that this draft is not the draft where you want to try and get a franchise quarterback in the first round, right? That is next year's draft. 2023 seems to be an incredible quarterback class. So this year, I don't think the Seattle Seahawks should try and use pick number 9 to try and fix their quarterback position and try and win now again. I think we have to just accept that we have to rebuild now that we've gotten rid of Russell Wilson. You can't do this half rebuilding thing where your team's garbage, but Russell Wilson will you to the playoffs almost every year. So you can try and fill positions of need through late first rounders or second rounders. But now that you don't have Russell Wilson, what do? Right? One thing I can tell is the edge position in this class, defensive end, stuff like that, pass rushers are very, very good. And it's a very, very deep class for that. So I think this will be a good year for the Seahawks to focus on edge rushers, maybe offensive line as well. I believe there's a couple really good tackles, maybe a couple interior linemen that are good as well. But I do not think that this is the year that the Seattle Seahawks should try and go out and solve their quarterback problem because it just doesn't look good. The Seahawks have clearly made it apparent that they do not want to spend money on players that are getting older, right? Russell Wilson, 150 mil, gone. Bobby Wagner getting paid an insane amount of money. His production, even though he's still getting a ton of tackles, you can kind of see him slowing down. Gone. Now it's time for us to get younger, I guess. I mean, I think this rebuild is going to be completely centered around DK Metcalf, and if it isn't, I'll be incredibly disappointed. If we just let DK Metcalf walk after his rookie contract is over, I will be very upset. But, a lot of people have been talking about, the Seahawks traded Russell Wilson. They can go use pick number 9 and get so-and-so. That's a quarterback. But I think we wait until next year, right? Now, hear me out. Hear me out. No one wants to be a poverty franchise. But the Seattle Seahawks, hypothetically, number 9, they trade down because assuming, that most teams are smart, it seems like the tippity top of this edge pass rusher class is going to be gone within the first 5-7 picks. So maybe if there's not a pass rusher that the Seahawks like there, they trade back, get like a mid first rounder, maybe an early second or something like that, right? Get some extra picks that are still very, very good. And then maybe we get, linebacker, pass rusher. We get some linemen for the offensive line. We do stuff like that. And then maybe we just throw Drew Lock in the fire. Just let him play like an absolute bum, right? What's the worst that could happen? We want to kill ourselves for a whole year while Drew Lock fails to throw to DK Metcalf accurately. And then guess what? We get an early pick next year. The Broncos are probably going to do pretty good. So, that pick we got from the Broncos isn't going to be great. But our pick will be pretty good. And then maybe we can get one of those top, quarterback prospects. Who is the Ohio State guy, Alabama, Clemson. I know they got some great quarterbacks everyone's going crazy over. Then we try to fix our quarterback situation. That year, we have already built up somewhat of an offensive line because we've already got some good guys. Curhan looked really good at right tackle. We have Damian Lewis still great. We have Gabe Jackson. I don't really like the idea of bringing back Dwayne Brown, especially for how much money he's going to want. But hey, if we can build an offensive line and a defense through this year, and who knows, maybe Drew Lock just decides he wants to play good football, he could actually do good. But if not, we get an early first rounder, get one of these incredible quarterbacks everyone's talking about in the 2023 NFL draft, and then we'll be riding into the sunset with a good young team. But will we do that? Maybe, maybe not. It's hard to really expect the Seattle Seahawks to make the smart play in the draft right now because I think Pete Carroll, right? He is old. Man is an old fart sitting there, just traded away his franchise quarterback. I wouldn't be surprised if he retires and just gives up, right? I don't think he wants to rebuild. Kind of like Bill Belichick, right? He didn't want to go on a full rebuild. I think the Seahawks are going to make a stupid play in the draft. They're going to try and fix their quarterback situation in 1 year and try to get back to winning games, and it's not going to work, and it's going to mess up the future. So, ideally, me personally, with my limited draft knowledge, because I don't really watch a lot of college football, but definitely going to be watching it next year because, I mean, clearly we're going to be relying on prospects a lot more than we have been over the past few years. I think that what we should do, focus edge pass rusher because it's such a very talented and deep class for that. Linebackers, I believe, are solid in this class. Apparently, so there's some really good offensive tackles. We could do that, fill at the left tackle spot, and let Dwayne Brown go because I don't want to pay him like $13 million for the garbage that he outputted last year. And then maybe we could get a couple corners. I've heard that there are some very good corners in this class. We don't need wide receiver. I just think, offensive line, linebacker, edge, perhaps corner if we can't bring back DJ Reed. And then I think we're good. Hopefully in free agency, we can bring back DJ Reed. We can bring back Quandre Diggs. I mean, we have a solid team. It's just now we don't have a quarterback. And, as well, I would like to get Rashad Penny back. I would love to have Rashad Penny back because if we're going to be garbage next year, might as well let him just run wild. Give him every single snap, every single handoff we can possibly give him. See what he does. But these are just my initial thoughts. Now, I'm probably going to spend the majority of this offseason focusing on the draft because, free agency, it'd be nice to get back the guys that we had last year, keep some continuity between, each season's teams. But to be completely honest, I think these next 2 years when it comes to drafting, we've got a first round pick this year. Ooh, yay, let's go. We got a lot of second rounders over the next 2 years. We got 2 first rounders next year. It's going to be big. It's going to be a big time for the Seahawks to get younger. And I'm not going to say that I'm excited for it, but that's all we can really look forward to is young people hopefully will grow with the team and actually be good. But, after an entire day being able to kind of take in the Seattle Seahawks moves of, getting rid of Bobby Wagner, trading Russell Wilson, I do believe it's somewhat smart. I'm a big proponent of if you're not going to pay somebody when their contract is up, you should get as much value as you can out of them. But seeing as though I believe Russell Wilson's contract still has 2 more years left, I could be completely wrong, but I don't think it ends next offseason. Like, I don't believe he's going to be up for free agency next offseason. I think it's 2 years down the road. So, maybe his trade value would have continued to gone down if, they didn't keep their unwillingness to pay him under wraps. But what if you could have got an extra year out of Russell Wilson, right? Get an extra year out of him. He looks way better than he did last year. Be like, oh yeah, maybe we'll pay him and then trade him once his, trade value is way higher. But I don't know. We'll never know now. But out of the possible situations that could have occurred with the Seattle Seahawks continue to get garbage picks and Russell Wilson leaving in free agency, this is probably the better of the 2 options, but it's still incredibly disappointing. Bobby Wagner, I would have loved to see him get traded, but clearly nobody wanted to take on that contract. It's like Russell Westbrook in the NBA. Like, yeah, he's still probably better than the majority of people that you could, look for, but no one's willing to take on a $44 million contract for what you're going to get. No one's willing to take on Bobby Wagner's contract because he's only getting older. He's not really getting better. He's not bad by any means, but he's clearly showing decline. But it is a sad, sad day for the Seattle Seahawks. And I guess we'll just have to see what the future holds for us because it's the end of an era. You can't look at a Seattle Seahawks football game and say, hey, that guy was there when we won the Super Bowl. Oh, that guy was there when we were good and we had the Legion of Boom, because there's no one like that anymore. It's an unfortunate time, unfortunate circumstances, but all we can do is hope that we can grow And with that, I would love to know what everyone else thinks, right? Because my thought process is like I can't even be mad at the Russell Wilson trade because I'm just so confused by it. Like I just cannot process Russell Wilson being on another team, but I'm not really upset. It weirdly enough. Like if the actual stuff was true that he wanted 50 million and we weren't going to pay it, I'm glad that we traded him now rather than letting his trade value decline or letting him leave in free agency. Like I'm glad we got something for him rather than just letting him go, but I'm also upset that he's not on the Seahawks anymore. It's just I have a weird combination of emotions right now, and I would love to know what everyone else thinks. Bobby Wagner's gone. It's sad, but hey, we look into the future now. We look towards the future. We got free agency coming up, I'm pretty sure. Then it's the draft. The draft combine has been pretty wild, mainly because people can't get the 40 times correct. But hey, I guess we'll just have to see what the future holds for the Seattle Seahawks. But that's going to do it for this video. Let me know down below in the comments what you think about, everything. What do you think the Seahawks could do going into the future that could lead us to success, lead us to the promised land? Leave a like on the video. Like I said, let me know down below in the comments what you think. And with that, I'd like to thank you for watching. Have a great day.